Hey everyone, hope all is well. My name is Shub. I'm a developer here at Juice Technologies. Today I'll be showing you our Quickbase integration with Egnyte, which is a cloud-based document management tool mainly used to securely share and edit your files. And I don't just mean PDF documents, I also mean Word documents, Excel sheets, photos, and even videos. And so I'll be demoing it within Quickbase's Project Hub app. This is one of Quickbase's popular pro apps out there, mainly geared towards construction companies for general contractors and subcontractors to use to kind of manage their construction workflows, anywhere from financials and cost management all the way to compliance and safety. And so with all that, there's obviously a lot of documents involved, and so having kind of that being stored in one place that's easily accessible and be able to kind of manage your revisions as well as all the different transmittals that you have is extremely important. And we think Egnyte can really play a key role there. And so you got your projects here, your submittals and RFIs, all your permits and inspections, and just a lot of other tables and data that's really helpful for your projects. And so if we were to go to the projects table where a lot of this is where you're going to be spending most of your time in the Project Hub app, is kind of giving you all the projects that you're kind of managing. If we were to go into this record, it's going to give you kind of a 360 view of your entire project, from general information about like the square footage, estimated start and end date, as well as information about your project team and the schedule that you're currently on. And then importantly, your cost management, so all your invoices coming in, as well as change management, so all your RFIs and your change orders. Those kind of go hand in hand, and so being able to manage that as well. So resource management, material management, and then lastly, compliance and safety. So with all of these kind of aspects and moving parts on a project, there's obviously going to be a lot of, especially the bigger the project, a lot of documents involved, especially going between, the general contractor and the architect and the engineers and the owners. So there's obviously a lot of moving parts and a lot of documents involved. So having that all stored in one place allows for greater transparency and also greater collaboration. And we think Egnyte is a perfect tool to kind of allow for that kind of that value. And so in the Files and Photos tab, we kind of is where we have our Egnyte integration sitting. So this is our doc portal stuff. This is kind of information about all the files that you may have and any photos that you may have with your projects. And then at the bottom, we is where our Egnyte UI is kind of sitting. And so right here is the iframe version. You can also have a pop-up version where basically you click this button and a pop-up will show, showing you that Egnyte UI, basically the same thing you're seeing here. And the reason why the folder is not found is because the first step you're ever going to do when you have a new project is actually create that Egnyte project. And so it's a really simple process that we have to create that folder structure. And so if I were to click this button here, it's going to give me a pop-up. And right here is going to show me the project folder path. So it's, this is the path that's going to be seen on the Egnyte side of things. Now the project template. So a neat thing that we have in this integration is that you can have create a template for your folder structure. And so when we click this button, create project, it's actually going to use the template that's in Egnyte that you set up prior in Egnyte to actually create that folder structure. And so now we have the construction portal template. So if I were to go into Egnyte, actually, if I were going to the project templates, so I have a bunch of templates that I'm working with. So the project template, if I were to go into the project hub template, as you can see right here, it has sort of a template of what I want each project kind of folder structure to really be once I create it. So it's going to have one for project administration. It's going to have for your drawings and specs, your submittals, your RFIs, stuff regarding safety and quality control. So once I create that project folder, it's actually going to use this template to create that folder structure. And you're going to see that really quickly. So let me bring that pop-up back up. So my project template, and then project name. So all this project name, status, and customer name, that's actually being brought in, pre-filled, using the data that's in your Quickbase record. So this data is already being pre-filled, so you actually don't even need to touch it. It's all here. And then create that project. and it's going to successfully create that project, using the template that I have. So if I were to exit out of this, it's going to refresh. If we go down now, you're going to see using that template that I showed you guys is going to create that file folder structure for me. And so now if I were to actually go back into Egnyte, refresh my page, if I were to go into that project, so QB sample, right, this one, as you can see right here, it creates that folder structure for me. And so everything that you're going to see in the Quickbase iframe is exactly what you're going to see over here. And so now, kind of, showing you the folder structure that we have. So we got, stuff for project administration, stuff with drawings, like all your revisions, your shop drawings, then stuff for your RFIs. Like I said, extremely important when it comes to change management, and especially the larger the project. So you can really make sure all of these are stored in one place, and then basically allow your teams to access all these documents and the latest version of these documents, all in one place. And then same for safety and quality control, billing and invoices, and even stuff regarding your closeout. So all in one space. And so now I can show you everything you can do, in the Egnyte UI here on the website, you can kind of do in the UI over here. So when it comes to uploading documents, if I were to go to, invoices, right? Or yeah, I can choose a file. So if I were to go, kind of into my invoices table folder here. So in my local, I can just upload a single document like this, and well, in a few seconds, it's here. I can open it up. And as you can see, all right, I get a PDF view of what it looks like. So I get, information about the project, kind of the work performed, the project number, as well as, the total for the invoice. And, this is kind of a very simple document, but, as you can see, with Egnyte, the great thing about Egnyte is that it can handle very large files. And so if you have very large contracts that you're dealing with, especially in the legal profession, that's, your case briefs and all the contracts you deal with in negotiations, often can get very lengthy. And so the great thing about Egnyte is that it can handle these large files and be able to kind of view them, but also then use the kind of features and functionality that Egnyte has to offer. So being able to put comments in is really helpful when you're collaborating with different people on a team. But then also you could use Egnyte's intelligence AI capabilities. And so they have a generative AI chatbot that you can interact with and be able to generate summaries on your documents, but also prompt it for, different information. And so this is really cool and important for, anybody, whether it's, in the construction industry or even people on the sales teams on a financial industries side of things, where, you need to grab information really quickly on about your documents, and having a generative AI feature here is really important. So you can learn more information about the document and then be able to grab that information as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's kind of the neat features that they have. But then also a neat thing about kind of this integration that we have is that you can not only just upload single files, but a nice and quick, easy thing that you can do is you can upload multiple files at once, just like by dragging and dropping. And so if I were to go into kind of this RFI logs, try to upload files, right? If I were to go into my RFIs, I got, a bunch of them over here over the past, 2 weeks. And so I can just kind of drag all these in here. And simply, I got all my files into Egnyte. And this actually is like a quick sync that goes straight into, the Egnyte website itself. So if I were to go right into my RFIs, RFI log, as you can see, all those RFIs I just uploaded are right here. And so it's a quick and seamless integration. Everything that you're seeing here is going to be accessible and seen here as well, and vice versa. So yeah, next thing that's really cool about Egnyte is actually being able to edit your documents straight from Egnyte itself. And so or straight from the integration itself. And so if I were to open up this Word document, I can actually edit it in using the Web Edit app. If I were to click this, it's actually going to open this document in Word and allow me to kind of actually make any revisions. And so this is really cool, especially if you're doing track changes. And this is really important for, those in the financial services as well as legal professions who have to kind of deal with the negotiation process. And so, being able to track changes and then actually, let's just say, I want to change the, what's it called? The priority from high to medium, right? So I can actually make that change. And once I click save here, Egnyte's process will actually save that automatically back. And so if I were to go back here, right, and refresh this page, go back down. So if I were to go back to my RFIs, right, and the one I think I just modified is this one right here. So if I were to open this back up, as you can see, right, it changes the priority to medium. So that change is going to be automatically uploaded back to Egnyte. And great thing is now whenever you're dealing with dealing it in teams and you have a lot of documents and everybody needs access to the latest version, Egnyte will make sure that no matter what, whoever edits it, the latest version will be uploaded back to Egnyte. So people will always be on the same page, especially when collaborating. And so it's a great collaboration tool. And this is not just for Word documents, but this is also for PDF documents. So let's just say I have a lot of drawings. Especially, shop drawings, stuff like that. So if I were to kind of upload, let's say like a floor plan into Egnyte. So if I were to quickly, my drawings, I have a floor plan here. Open that up. I can do the same thing, edit in Web Edit app. It's actually going to open up kind of a PDF viewer. Right here. All right, so I got my PDF viewer right here, so I can see the entire floor plan. And let's say I'm an architect or an engineer that really needs to make edits to these kind of floor plans. I can actually draw on the page, mark it up a bit, and then also even add text to it. So I can say revise here. Right. So you can add comments, and you can also even ask Copilot for information about this file. And so these are kind of some neat tricks and tools that are really helpful, especially when it comes to document management. So now you can save this, and this automatically, just like Word, goes back to Egnyte. So if I were to exit out of this, now refresh my page. So back to my drawings, shop drawings, and then house plans. So now you can see, right, that comment and that markup that I made on the document is saved and stored right back into Egnyte. So it's a really seamless and easy tool to use. And as you can see, right, you can, the new revision is kind of shown here, and you can actually even access the old revision if you wanted to. Yeah, so that's kind of a lot of the functionality and great features that Egnyte has to offer. And the great thing now is being able to actually use if you have one of our document generation tools, specifically Exact Forms Plus, you can now actually be able to generate documents and then have that automatically stored to Egnyte. And so just like how, we have integrations with S3, being able to save to S3, being able to save to Dropbox, now you can save your documents, generate them, and then save them back to Egnyte. And so this example I have here is, with your invoices, especially in construction, that's particularly important. And so what we have here is all these different invoice records, and being able to kind of not only will we be able to generate individual documents and store that to Egnyte, but also be able to generate a project, invoice summary and store that as well to Egnyte. And so what this button here is going to do is generate documents for each of these kind of detailed records, and then store that back up to Egnyte, as well as a project, kind of a summary version of it as well. So without further ado, as you can see right here, all those documents are getting kind of, as you can see, creating Word documents, saving it to Egnyte. And so that entire process is kind of kicking off. Okay, so 5 documents were created. And as you can see, right, all those invoice documents were created, as well as the summary document. And the neat thing is now with our integration is that these documents actually get saved to the invoices folder within Egnyte. So if I were to go into here, right, my invoices, as you can see, all those individual documents were saved into Egnyte, but also the summary document, which we have right here, right? So now you can seamlessly use Exact Forms Plus with our Egnyte integration and have all your documents still in one place and easy to access and manage. So that's kind of our integration that we have. I really appreciate your time, and there's way more to come. We really think this tool can bring a lot of value to construction people, as well as people in different industries like finance, legal, healthcare. So thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.